Hey there, my name is Cole Adams, and you are watching the best college basketball podcast out there that covers the entire sport of college basketball, brackets, bubbles, and bid stealers. Now, here are your hosts, Sam Fetterman and Jonathan Lidskin.
Season 6, episode 69 of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bitch Stealers. I am Sam Fetterman. That is Jonathan Lidskin. Jonathan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great, Sam. Happy Mid-Major Thursday.
Yeah, happy Mid-Major Thursday to all who celebrate. I hope that you all had a terrific Mid-Major Thursday, as good of a Mid-Major Thursday as I did and as everyone else did. Jonathan, there are a couple places that we can start tonight. I'm going to kind of let you choose where you want to get us started.
So I want to lead up a little to this, but there are, a couple things that I constantly say about the general sport of college basketball. One applies to every mid-major Thursday pretty much, and that's, if you want a good game on any given night, you can find it in this sport. And number two is that, college basketball, for a plethora of reasons, is a sport unlike any other. There are things that happen in this sport, both on and off the court, that you will not find really in any other sport. And, with that, I want to take your attention to what happened tonight between Southern Utah and Tarleton State.
Were you watching this game?
I watched the end of it, but I was following it most of the time.
Were you watching in regulation?
I was watching when Dior Johnson was trying to call a timeout from the bench to try to get back into the game.
Yeah, so Dior Johnson, and we haven't really talked a lot about Dior this year. Obviously, Dior, want to preface everything about Dior with the reason why he's at Tarleton State. I think we all know.
Yeah.
The reason why he was at UCF last year.
This is well documented.
And he was at JUCO a couple years ago, kicked off the Pitt team. Storylines were around Dior, but the man can play basketball.
Tonight he had never been in question.
Tonight he had his fourth straight 30-point game. He had his second 40-point game of the season. He scored 40 on 13 of 22 for the field. He attempted 12 free throws. He also fouled out at the very beginning of overtime.
Yeah.
They took him out for offense-defense subs. And this was a wild game, the whole way for this. So it was close, it was close throughout the late stages of regulation. There was a lot of lead flips. I think a bunch of teams had some run. Actually, there weren't a ton of lead flips. Southern Utah led for most of the game, but Tarleton State kept it close, and there were a bunch of changes in win probability.
Yeah, the thing about
Dior Johnson with 38 points is sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
For offense defense with 4 fouls. Tarleton State has a timeout. It doesn't use it when it gets the ball back and is very lucky to grab an offensive rebound down by 2 points. Or down by 1 or down by 2? Were they down by 1 or down by 2?
I think they were down 1, right?
Let me make sure I have this right.
Didn't they make the second?
No, this is with 34 seconds left. Okay, they're down 90 to 89. Dior is on the bench, and he is Billy Clyde is, by the way, not coaching this game. It's Glenn Cyprian as coaching for Tarleton. Billy Clyde is under the weather. Per Whack Hoops Nation. Shout out Whack Hoops Nation. We're gonna miss you. But Tarleton State doesn't call timeout until after it gets an offensive rebound. Then it does call timeout. Dior comes back in the game. And Dior shouldn't have the opportunity to get the ball because you should be triple face guarding him at this point.
Yeah, deny the ball.
But
maybe?
Southern Utah almost forces a backcourt violation, and then for no reason touches the basketball while it's in the backcourt and gives the chance. And by the way, touches it while running past it. So it gives a 5-on-4 for Tarleton State. The ball falls to Dior. Dior takes it all the way to the basket, and he scores, and he's got 40. And Tarleton State takes the lead, and they eventually went to overtime. Now, Southern Utah wins in overtime. Southern Utah wins in overtime.
Fouled out.
Yeah, Dior fouled out. Dylan Jones, the transfer from FDU, made some big shots. Jonathan, do you remember Isaiah Cottrell?
Yeah.
He's on this Southern Utah team.
He was at like West Virginia and then UNLV and
Yep, that's where he was.
Yeah.
And Jaden Faroa from Holy Cross, also on this Southern Utah team. So just a collection of eclectics from a bunch of different places. Elijah Duval.
For both teams, honestly.
Yeah. Elijah Duval, freshman guard, missed a lot of free throws, but eventually Southern Utah gets the win. Their first win in WAC play. We are leading the podcast with Southern Utah Tarleton State tonight, Jonathan.
Listen, when you put together that kind of game, that's just what you're going to get. Like this was just an absurd basketball game.
And by the way, there was a fight and double technicals before the final seconds of this game.
Yeah, just insane stuff. And, you said it, Dior goes for 40 in 29 minutes. And, is just sitting there like begging, for a timeout to be called so he can get back in the game on offense.
Yeah, and he dribbled into a freaking triple team in the final seconds.
Yeah. That wasn't great.
But, fun league, by the way, this year. This WAC.
Yeah,
Sorry, the WAC.
We've talked about it. Everyone plays each other 3 times. You have Utah Valley, who's an extremely good team. Abilene's good. Tarleton, we know, has Dior. Cal Baptist.
UT Arlington is elite defensively. Cal Baptist has Dominique Daniels, who's a superstar.
Yeah.
There are like a bunch of really fun guards in this league, even beyond Dior. And that's when you get to your guys like Dominique Daniels. And then, like, obviously, Utah Valley has some bigger guards. Like Traven Lionheart is kind of a bigger guard there, but he's really fun. Just a really fun.
And I mean, like Jackson Holcomb's their best player.
Yeah, not exactly a guard, more of kind of a wing. Honestly, this league is probably more wing based than guard based. That was kind of on me. But like Cash Chavis, Rayshawn Seamster, and Marcel McCreary with Marcus Rigsby for UT Arlington, a team that just will guard the crap out of you. They don't allow you to take threes and they don't allow you to make threes. So just really fun stuff there from UT Arlington, who got a win tonight, 56-52, allowed 0.77 points per possession against a Utah Tech team that has is not a great offense, but certainly should be scoring more than that. So wild night in the WAC, Jonathan. Where would you like to go next?
I think it's probably the right call to go to Hofstra, Stony Brook.
Yeah, I did not watch this game. Did you?
I did not. I was following it basically the entire time, though.
Yeah, so Hofstra is no longer undefeated in the CAA. The Pride have now lost 4 games in a row to Stony Brook. That is the longest losing streak for Hofstra in the 50-plus year history of this rivalry. Cruz Davis, over 7 inside the arc. Hofstra made 14 threes, but was 10 for 30 inside the arc in this game. And man, Stony Brook just made shots. They made big shots. I was able to catch like a little bit of the highlights and stuff from this game and was able to follow a bunch of it. Stony Brook did a really good job of kind of salting this game away and not really opening the door for Hofstra to have chances, because we've seen Hofstra kind of like squeak back through some crazy doors this year. They were down against Monmouth at halftime in their last game, and they came back and they won in overtime. They were down. They were down against Syracuse late in that game. They were down in a bunch of their games earlier this year, and they've squeaked through and kind of given themselves a chance. Tonight, Stony Brook didn't really give Hofstra that much of a chance in this game. Late down the stretch, didn't really give them the opportunity to make it that one possession game. So yeah, Preston Edmeade was still like really, really good, and he's one of the best freshmen in the country, no doubt. But you got to give it to Stony Brook here just for showing up at the rivalry game, having the home court, and Richard Goods hitting shots, Andre Shoshkish hitting shots, Eric Pratt doing his thing. So I think for Stony Brook to get this win, for a team that starts 3 underclassmen, does not have a lot of continuity. Just played UNC Wilmington really close, almost like they blew a 20-point lead in that game and almost won. For them to get their second conference win here, that's huge. And for them, like Gino Ford has kind of had these kind of lying in the weeds teams before. Like last year they were pretty bad, but 2 years ago they kind of went 10-8. Nobody really thought much about it, and they make their way to the conference final. He's had a bunch of those 10-8, 10-6-ish teams in conference play over the course of his career that are kind of just like getting there. Maybe this Stony Brook team can get to 500. I would be a little surprised if they get to 9 in the CAA. They're probably more of a 7-11 team off the top of my head. And yeah, that's what Ken Pom has them as. But especially considering like it's young, they have not much continuity and the talent isn't overwhelming. But look, I don't think anyone would truly be shocked at this point if they went out and they beat Charleston, they beat Northeastern, and you're 4-4, because I don't think any games really surprise you at this point in the CAA. With kind of this result, you're like, okay, yeah, like Stony Brook can give them a fight. They play hard. They're solidly coached. Hofstra's a good team, but they can get an off night inside. That's kind of what Stony Brook forces you to do. The average 2-point distance is really long. They're tough to get to the rim against. So yeah, I think Charleston's size and athleticism probably overwhelms Stony Brook. But like, would you be totally surprised if Stony Brook comes out and wins that game at home? No, because it's a tough home. It's tough to win on the road. And
why not? They did it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the storyline here coming out of this is Hofstra in the last 2 good teams that Speedy's had, and you can extend this further out because you know a lot more about this program than I do. But Speedy doesn't like to play a lot of guys from my vantage point, and
that is correct. That is correct.
They've played a lot of close games this year, like you've said, and they've managed to win a lot of them. I wonder if fatigue starts to set in a little bit down the stretch, and maybe they lose some games like tonight that maybe they shouldn't. Right?
Notably, did not have Biggie Patterson tonight. He has missed the last 3 games. His minutes were dwindling by the time he. I don't know exactly what it was that happened, but notable because when you're a team that's not deep, going down a guy, it hurts. I think their big rotation is good between Victory Onueto and Silas Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to have one more guard kind of take that step. Whether that's Jaden Roberts, the freshman who I liked over the summer, who's only played in 9 games, AJ Wills, who transferred in from Wyoming, played a bunch there, but played 32 minutes tonight. I think that you probably get a higher upside with Roberts. I want one more guard because Edmeade and Davis are playing 97 and 85% of the minutes right now, and that is not sustainable for them to be playing their best ball going into March.
Right. It starts to wear on you down the stretch, and then you have to go play a conference tournament where you have to play back to back to back. And
Yeah, and like last year, like they just didn't have lineups that worked. So like Speedy kind of just had to throw guys out there.
correct.
But when he's found lineups that have worked, he's really stuck with it. It was really like for the most part, Tyler, JC, D Stone, Yako, German, and then sometimes Bryce in 2024. The year before that, it was you had Estrada, Tyler Thomas, D Stone, and Carlos all playing like big minutes. The three guards played 80, D Stone played 65, and then it was then he rotated with Plotnikov, and then it was Warren Williams and Boshi Yadam at the 5 spot. So yeah, you're right to say that Speedy doesn't like to play a ton of guys. I think that's not like exactly not by design.
Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing inherent, like there's nothing like fundamentally wrong with it. It's just
I still think Hofstra's the best team in the CAA.
agreed. Yeah, I think it goes.
I know UNC Wilmington 16-2
them and
and 5-0. It's Hofstra and UNC Wilmington for me. And I also want to make a note because Towson got a big one tonight. They got the win at home against Charleston. Held on, almost blew that game. Like it got close. They never trailed though. Dylan Williamson was awful. He couldn't make a shot. Tyler Tejada was 0 for 7 from 3. Just kind of a gritty gut check kind of win for Towson. At some point though, these 3-point shots are going to have to fall for them. Like they're not going to. Right. They're like I don't think it's a good 3-point shooting team roster wise, just straight up. But like last year, how much like were they that buoyed by Dylan Williamson shooting 44%? They kind of were. Like Tejada was 33, May was 31, Nenda Tark was 29, and Tamiwa Suleiman was 29. Like they kind of were buoyed by Dylan Williamson shooting 44%. So I don't think that the 3-point shooting is necessarily ever going to be anywhere close to a strength for this team. That's kind of what they do. They're not a team that's going to make threes. They're a good defensive team though, but at some point you can't just be making 26%. You have to be like at least like 30.
Yeah, they don't shoot threes and they don't really share the ball that well either. It's a lot of one-on-one
It's
stuff.
a lot of one-on-one.
Like your hope was Tyler Schmidt would, be a big time 3-point shooter for you off the bench, as he got older, but it just, that hasn't been the case. Like he's all but out of the rotation for them.
Yeah, he played 5 minutes tonight. Mm-hmm. But good win. Like they played their game. They had their identity. They were good. At the line, they held an athletic and big Charleston team to a poor offensive performance. So definitely good there. Forced a bunch of turnovers. Didn't really turn it over themselves. That's pretty big for Towson. Towson hosts Drexel, then goes to Elon. This was a team that was projected to be at the very top of this league, or if not one of. They're now projected 9-9 on KenPom. Jonathan, are you taking the over or under on 9-9 for Towson?
Just eyeballing their schedule, you still have to play. You get Wilmington at home. You have to play Elon twice. Hofstra on the road. Like honestly, I'm gonna go under. Like 9-9 does feel right, but you're already 2-4, and like they've already shown the capability to lose to these teams that are in the mid 200s.
All right, Jonathan, you want to move on from the CAA?
Yeah.
All right, it's time to do something that I know you guys, that I know I never expected to be here, but I never deleted the banner. 2 years ago, we fell in love on this podcast.
We did.
We consistently led the show with Sundance Wicks and the Green Bay Phoenix. We were devastated, heartbroken as a podcast when Sundance Wicks left for Wyoming. We were happy for Sundance.
Mhm.
Great coach.
And he's doing well at Wyoming.
And he's got a top 100 team right now. I know they're 2-4 in conference, but they're not awful.
It's a hard job.
Really hard job. But Sundance Wicks was terrific in the Horizon League with Green Bay.
Mhm.
And then they hired Doug Gottlieb. And we clowned on it relentlessly. And I clowned on it relentlessly.
It was one of the biggest stories in college basketball when it happened.
I agree. They lost to Michigan Tech. They were 2-24 at one point last year.
Yep.
Yeah, like I know that Anthony Roy wasn't playing. I know that they had their injuries. They had their problems. But what evidence would suggest that hiring a guy who was a full-time radio host for the last 20 years and had never coached at any level in Division I or Division II or Division III, who had never been a full-time college basketball coach or full-time basketball coach, I don't think the evidence would suggest that it would work. Like, straight up, I'm going to say that. But
no, there was
what I'm going to
no
say
evidence
is
that was going to work out for them.
But what I'm going to say is, for everything that they did, a significant upgrade in coaching staff this year around Doug Gottlieb. Kerry Rupp was a great hire. Think they added another guy or another two guys. Kiefer Sykes, Cale Gans. Was Andy Ground a new one? Yeah, Andy Ground was a new one too. That's a guy who won, who won a lot of games at Saddleback College. So he's got a really good staff now, and that helped him a lot. And now Green Bay is 6-2 in the Horizon League. Has won 5 games in a row. Notably, Doug Gottlieb is no longer a full-time radio host. So
yeah, I think that's where you have
not only did he hire a much better staff, but he also is now putting 100% of his energy. And like, he could say that he was doing all the work. And I'm not going to doubt that he was like working his ass off last year. I just think he didn't know what he didn't know when he got into it. And
that being a Division I head coach takes a lot of effort?
Not necessarily that. Just I think he didn't know like what he needed to know, like to go through the everyday as a head coach. And that's not even with the radio show. It's just in general. And I thought, like, just the stubbornness to take the job and stay with the radio show, just having that stubbornness in the first place, I wasn't sure if it would ever go away. And he hires as I mentioned, hires a much better staff this year, has a full off season to bring in players, and has done a significantly better job since giving up the radio show. Green Bay is 6-2, and we are once again fearing the Phoenix, Jonathan, on Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers.
Yeah, I think the winning streak they're on, you have to. But, it started with, in my opinion, Gottlieb giving 100% of his attention to, his Division I head coaching job. Like,
yeah, and look, I also
you can say the staff hires, you can say the year 2, more better roster, whatever.
I think it all plays in.
What?
I think it all plays into it.
Oh, I think the number one reason is him giving him more attention, his full attention to the job, because it's just a trickle down effect. Like,
I agree.
If you're a player and your coach is like half-assing his job, like, how are you supposed to play hard for him?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, I think that completely probably changed the dynamics of the program for the better, obviously. And I guess like credit to him for being aware and coming to his senses. But like I don't think this should have happened in the first place. But no doubt they've dramatically improved.
Can I also just say that, like, I still believe that all of the criticism that I gave last year holds up. Like, I still think
absolutely.
I still think it's a bad process hire. I still think that it that he didn't earn his way up to the job. That doesn't mean that it can't work out and they win games. I think it was
By all estimates, they have the most resources in that league, right?
up there.
Okay.
I also, and like, if you're asking, oh, if they have such great resources, why did they hire him? Because
Part of it is him bringing resources with him.
yeah, I think he brings some of the resources with him, and that was a really, really late opening.
It was.
Again, not a hire I would have made, not a hire that I will defend, but certainly an uptick in the seriousness that Gottlieb and this program can be taken with this year. And they're good. Like, they're a good basketball team. Justin Allen is a stud. Marcus Hall is a stud. Preston Rudinger is a stud. Like, they score. They score a lot. They scored 88 points in 61 possessions tonight, Jonathan.
That's pretty
All
good.
right. Yeah, 6-2. But the key now is you have Oakland coming to town. And Oakland is 6-2.
Good team.
This is going to be one of the biggest games of the season in the Horizon League. Obviously, Wright State is 7-1. Oakland 6-2. Green Bay 6-2.
Shout out Cole Adams.
Yeah, shout out Cole Adams. Wright State got another win tonight over Youngstown State. Man, this is such a good Wright State team right now because they've won 6 in a row. Their last loss was that Miami, Ohio game. We'll talk a little about Miami, Ohio, as they are one of the last 3 undefeated teams in the country, and they play a pretty cool stretch of games over the next week. But yeah, we're fearing the Phoenix now.
Yeah, they obviously dramatically improved. I think I'd still probably say Wright State and Oakland are the top 2 teams in the league. But Green Bay's playing well. It's obviously a top half team in the league and should be taken seriously.
Yeah, let's take Green Bay seriously this year. I think January 15th is definitely the right time, if not earlier, to start doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Where do you want to go next, Jonathan?
Ooh, I'm gonna pull up fan match real quick. Can we talk about FAU for a sec? Like, I know this is kind of
we haven't talked Owls much this year. I think
I know this is kind of out of left field because the American, frankly, is awful this year
it's real bad
by its own standards.
Real bad.
But FAU is quite good. Like, they don't really
They're
have a bad loss on the year, and they just hammered a pretty decent Wichita State team tonight.
Yeah, no, hammered them.
This is coming off Memphis. A double-digit win over Memphis.
Beat UAB on the road.
Yeah, this is a tough stretch of games.
If the Patriots game wasn't at 3, I would be going down to Philly to see them play Temple on Sunday. Go ahead and listen to Temple Radio.
A lot of hooting happening in the
Pat Dallahan will be on the call.
A lot of hooting happening this weekend.
Friend of the program, Pat Dallahan, on the call for that one.
Yeah,
but FAU.
All jokes, Pat.
That's great. I don't know how I haven't heard that one yet.
I've said it before.
I don't remember you ever saying that.
I think Pat has said it himself. He's sometimes I can't believe people take the all business Pat name seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on, but he'll be on the call, and his Temple Owls are having a good year.
Yeah. Temple looks solid, but FAU looks better. this win in this game. Like they kind of came out and blitzed them. Like from the start, it was like maybe not from the start, but like they kind of took a big lead late in the first half, and then they just kept on going in the second half. They scored 48 in the second half. It's a talented team. We talked about it over the offseason, like how talented we thought this team was.
Yeah,
with Vanderpool and Carlisle.
They took a shot on a handful of buy low candidates, and all of them seem to be working out for them.
Man, Carlisle has
had a great year. Elohim's really starting to play well. Even like Devin Williams has been really good for them this year.
Because I talked a lot about Kanan Carlisle in the offseason, just as a guy who'd never been efficient.
Yeah.
He's been really efficient this year.
Yeah, I think Jakes was a good hire. And, like this is a really good evaluation period they had last year in the portal, bringing these guys in. Like even Logue, I think, still has a lot of upside as a sophomore. So like this team's good. They could absolutely win the league. They're 4-1. Their only losses at Tulane, who's a decent team themselves. Like I like this FAU team. They were a top 100 team for me in the preseason, and they're 93rd in KenPom right now. So,
all right, Jonathan, we've got a couple other things to go over for tonight before we get out of here. We have a first conference win for Mike Bibby in Sacramento State.
Oh, it was their first?
Yep.
Oh, geez.
Mikey Williams did not play. So it turns out Mikey Williams' 37% usage rate in conference play was not, in fact, helping Sacramento State win basketball games.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Speaking of UCF transfers, our second one we've mentioned on this show already. I caught some of App State JMU. Alonzo Dodd, Kaysen Jennings, man, this App State team, they're so much better than they were, I think, a month ago. And even though they're 4-3 in conference play, I think they're just as much of a threat in the Sun Belt as we typically think of them as.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a tier, one contender in the Sun Belt this year. Like
I think Troy's really good.
Like Troy's good, but
I think
Troy's the world's above everyone else.
The problem that I have with Troy is that they have no bench.
Correct. 357th in bench minutes this year.
Just like straight up, like they don't get efficient offense from anybody off their bench.
Mm-hmm. Like
nobody off their bench gives them anything higher than a 97 offensive rating.
Yeah, not good. Not good. They do have some legitimate playmakers.
Oh, Victor Valdez is terrific. Cooper Campbell's great. Thomas, their starting five is really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say like how many of these guys will be playing at high majors next year because
no, we don't do that on this show.
We don't do that. But like that's a very like I'll come back in a year and like these guys will be like bigger names in the sport, whether it's at Troy or somewhere else.
There is a text that I sent you. This was, I think, summer of 2024.
Okay.
Now at this point about the Campbell brothers. Like I was really high.
I don't remember this.
I was really high on Troy last year, and they ended up finishing 95th in KenPom and made the NCAA tournament. Obviously, they had Tate and Connerway, both Rigsby's. Like that was a good team, and like this year, they've kept some of that team, and they're not quite as good, but still putting together a really good year.
Yeah, gonna kind of speed through some other stuff.
Yeah.
Nick Janowski had 32. St. Thomas, Jonathan. The Tommies are 15-4. Minnesota and Janowski combined for 59. Austin Hero had 10 assists and 7 steals with 2 turnovers in a 91-80 win over North Dakota. The Tommies, Jonathan, are first in the Summit League with a 128.2 offensive rating. They are scoring 64.2 effective field goal percentage in conference play and have a 51% free throw to field goal ratio. That makes for some pretty sick offense.
It does, and I'm glad Janowski, is at St. Thomas because, like I didn't really like he's from Wisconsin, and like when I watched him on tape in high school, I didn't think he was like a Nebraska level player, but like I liked some of the things about his game, and he's had a big year for them.
Man, I just think the St. Thomas team is so good. Like Austin Hero has been really good for them. And it's not like it's not just Minnesali and Janowski. Obviously, those are their main guys. But Carter Bjerke continues to be great. Isaiah Johnson-Arigu gives them some serious athleticism defensively. Austin Hero, as I mentioned, steals the ball a ton. Ben Oosterbon's been really efficient. Ryan Dufault's been good.
Oosterbon's a fun story. I don't know if I've told you this. He was like fully committed to play Division I baseball, like in May of his senior year, and then he just kind of decided that he was going to wanted to play basketball, and Johnny Tower came calling, and he was rewarded for it.
Yeah, he scored 707 points in a single season at Hinsdale Central, which broke whose record?
Whose record at Hinsdale Central?
Yep.
Who? This has got to be like recent.
Brian Wardle.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Hinsdale Central's had some good teams recently. What's his name?
Yeah.
Vince Buzelis was there last year too.
Yeah.
My brother.
Where's he at now? I forget where he's
South
at.
Dakota, I want to say.
Yeah, so it's something in the Summit League, I think.
Yeah. Am I allowed to like half compliment St. Thomas for having the number 2 defense in the conference right now? I know the Summit League defense. I know the Summit League defense jokes, but like it nobody's beating them if they're playing elite offense and like good defense for the conference level.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And when I say nobody's beating them, I mean they're going to go pretty close to undefeated in conference play.
Can I talk about my favorite team in college basketball, Jonathan?
Of course.
The Jags won! IU Indy wins! Ben Howlett has a conference win.
First conference win.
96-93 in overtime against the reigning champion Robert Morris. Oh my God, they finally did it. I'm so glad. Jonathan, they will not win only 4 games this year.
Hey, and they're still just as watchable as they were on the first day of the season.
I'll say this, though. I don't think they're going to win 14.
Was that what the line originally was?
I don't know if they're going to win 4 games. I don't know if they're going to win 14 games. I don't know if they're going to win 24 games. I will watch every single one of them.
Yeah, when I said line,
I have watched at least a couple minutes of like probably 12 of their games.
Yeah, and I'm glad when I said line, your head went to like what you said and not betting line, because we've done enough of that in the sport today.
Yeah, no. Are we going to talk about that at all?
We should wrap the show with it. I don't want to take away from Mid-Major Thursday.
Yeah. By the way, like something we haven't talked about like really at all. NJIT is 3-1 in America East.
I saw they knocked off Lowell tonight.
Yeah, UMass Lowell, who was 3-0 coming into this game. This league stinks, like straight stinks this year. Like there's no way around it. This is the worst I have ever seen America East, like by far. 29th ranked league in the country. It's like barely above the NEC.
Hey,
like it's below the SWAC. It's bad.
Listen, Gus Bus is the current Ken Palm player of the year in the league. That's all you got to know.
And like not just is Gus Bus the Ken Palm player of the year in this league, like he is legitimately like it's like watching Nikola Jokic play in America East on one side of the ball. On one side of the ball.
Yes,
on the other side of the ball, it's just absolutely awful.
Congrats, you are now aligned with Strictly B-ball.
Now, he was bad today, like pretty bad. He was like 3 for 11, I think, but they got the win. Vermont like kind of sleepwalked through these 2 home games against Binghamton and Maine.
Yeah,
Like,
we were on the show.
Don't sleep.
We
don't
were on the show
sleepwalk on the road to Albany and Binghamton. Like you could lose those games.
Yeah, we were
on
on
Albany
the show,
and UMass Lowell, not Binghamton.
We were on the show last week, like kind of criticizing them because they completely like should have lost to a terrible Binghamton team. So, yeah, Binghamton lost to Albany tonight.
Oh, Binghamton is absolutely horrific. Like they got pounded by Albany tonight. Like I don't even know what, like I feel bad because they have so many injuries. Like you want to talk about a team that has been hit by the injury. I think they have like 7 season-ending injuries, and like 4 of those guys didn't play. I think they have more than 7 season-ending injuries, and many of those guys didn't play at all this year. So like it's understandable, but they are awful.
Yeah, no, not good, not good.
Like I will not like. It's not their fault that they're this bad.
Like, they're the lowest rated non-SWAC or MEAC team in KenPom.
Yeah. Speaking of which, do we have an update on how close Coppin and MVSU are? They're now 2.3 between the 2 of them.
Just about.
I am like, man, do we think there's a chance Coppin falls below Mississippi Valley State this year? Man, the MEAC is the lowest rated league in the country by 5 points.
Yeah, that's not good.
The SWAC, the median SWAC team would be a 6-point favorite against the median MEAC team this year.
Maryland Eastern Shore is
and that's like with Mississippi Valley State in the SWAC.
UMass is 3-0 in conference play, and I have not gotten a DM from Ethan Bach recently. So,
I've been texting Ethan Bach after every Maryland Eastern Shore game.
He's asleep at the wheel, at least with me. I mean, they won at Norfolk.
Well,
State
he's been asleep at the wheel. He's no longer in our sport.
Yeah, he's working for the FBI.
Yeah.
Whoops.
It's unfortunate. CIA, not FBI.
Sorry.
Big one though on Saturday. Huge game. Coppin State against Maryland Eastern Shore in Princess Anne.
We should just like clip that and forever, embellish it.
Just game of the year.
Dude, I mean, I didn't think I'd ever see the day where UMass was a 14-point favorite in a conference game, but here we are. What a league, man. What a league.
UT Martin has won 6 in a row. They are 14-4, Jonathan.
Get them in the tournament.
Yeah, like get
these guys in here.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing. Shout out to Jeremy Shulman.
Shout out to Coach Shulman. Came on the pod earlier this year.
We should. I think we should try and get more coaches on at some point.
Agreed, but they're playing some good ball.
Yeah. How about we get Doug Gottlieb and bring him on? All right.
I'm going to refrain from saying anything more.
I got basically nothing else from tonight. Like there were a couple other games, but like not much that I really want to get into right now.
Yeah, I think I had a couple notes. Liberty got pushed at home by New Mexico State. Thought that was an intriguing result. You mentioned App State. What else? There was some late West Coast stuff that I thought was
Gonzaga got a win.
CSUN goes to UCSD and gets a win.
Yeah, that was impressive.
And then Hawaii goes to Cal Poly and wins by 20. I thought those two results out west were intriguing to me.
Yeah. And then I want to just like get
Congrats to
any thoughts that
Idaho
you.
State for winning the in-state rivalry there.
Yeah,
Tonight.
just wanted to ask you if you had any thoughts on the high major stuff from last night, because we do need to kind of touch on it before we head into tomorrow's show.
Ooh, let me think here.
The kind of big storylines. Kentucky coming back against
season-saving
LSU.
win for Kentucky.
Season-saving non-loss for Kentucky.
That's a better way to put it.
Vanderbilt, no longer undefeated, drops to 11th in KenPom. That's a big drop. Like, that's a big drop for one loss.
I mean, they got killed by a team that I don't think is that good. So
Texas is going to make the NCAA tournament, John.
Probably, and we will all be subject to watching it.
My take on Vanderbilt right now is, if you thought they were a top 5 team on Wednesday morning, you should probably still think they're a top 10 team today. KenPom. I disagree with you, KenPom.
Sam Fetterman hates the computers.
Yeah, I just don't think one result, like when you have this ginormous target on your back as the lone undefeated team in the SEC. Like, look, I'm not sure I thought they were a top 5 team, but like I still think they're probably a top 10 team. Like,
they're good.
I think Vandy's a national title contender.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you say that? Like, if
they're 11th in KenPom.
If we're gonna live and die by this, like, you have to be top 30 or whatever in adjusted offense and defense. Like, they fit those criteria easily.
No, they're awesome.
So
I would also
Buka
say, yeah, my favorite player in college basketball.
Stanford, by the way, since I said like they were bad, 3-1 with wins over Louisville, UNC, and at Virginia Tech. So yeah, like,
are you scared?
Hand up. I doubted Kyle Smith. Why? I don't know, but here we are.
I would like to put in I'm not nervous about North Carolina, from the sake of they are still built. I still think North Carolina is built generally correctly with in terms of how they want to play defense, because they have so much physicality and they're going to be so dominant on the inside. They have the number 2 average 2-point distance in the country, the number 4 2-point defense in the country. It's just that their guards just haven't been able to keep anyone in front of them, and these point guards are just banging threes over them right now. Do you know what the 3-point percentage over the last 3 games is? Do you know how many threes they've allowed the other team to make in the last 3 games? Don't. They've allowed 44 made threes in the last 3 games, Jonathan.
In 3 games?
In 3 games. Like, that's a concern. It's also unsustainable. Like, sure, this team's not gonna force a ton of turnovers. Sure, I get it. But they're just so strong inside the arc. I don't think that this defense is going to be something we're going to be concerned about in a month. Like, I don't like. Okay, UNC's not going to be a 3 seed. Maybe they're a 6 seed, but they're a 6 seed that I think could make the Elite 8.
Yeah, with Carolina's talent, you never could rule out a team like that in a high variance setting.
just a really that's kind of just where I would put it. Like that, like North Carolina, if they're a 5 or 6 seed, it doesn't surprise me. Like, they're also the type of team that no one wants to pick to make a run, and they end up in the Sweet 16 and when nobody wanted it.
Has anyone pointed out that their net rating is actually lower than it was last year?
Okay, I'm just gonna say, like, they have fallen from 22 in KenPom to 35 in those 3 games.
Listen, like,
they have not been in the top 20 of KenPom at any point this year.
I don't say many positive things about North Carolina ever. As a Duke fan, I despise them. They are my least favorite team in all of sports. But this is bound to swing back the other way, I think.
I do think there was probably a little bit of they had some regression coming their way. But this is like a holy pendulum
No, this is
swing
just
of
3
all
games of like what the hell?
like if the pendulum was here and it had been like swinging, and like you kind of expect it to kind of swing back, it kind of went. If you're watching that, if you're listening, I moved my finger really fast from one side to the other.
Yeah, like at least these next couple games, I think can be course correction, especially with
Right.
more inferior opponents.
Just a couple other high major thoughts. Kansas State, get these guys out of here! Oh my god.
Dude, I was gonna take them in this game as a dog, but I just like could not pull the trigger, and I'm very glad I did not.
South Carolina, get these guys out of here! Oh my god.
Tough.
Um,
I watched basically the entire thing of BYU TCU, and I just want to say that like TCU did a really good job of mucking that up in the first half, and BYU's talent eventually took over. I mean, Devanza didn't have the most efficient night, but you could feel his impact.
Yeah, I just think that's kind of what BYU is. Like, teams can kind of play their game against them, but only for so long.
Yeah.
And that's I feel why BYU has been such a better second half team than first half team this year. Because like eventually the talent's just gonna win out.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan, Duke kind of survived late. Duke not as much as survived. Those teams like they won by double digits, but they were down in the first half of those games, and it's like you don't expect those teams to be down to Cal and Washington.
Right.
Would also like to shout out St. Peter's.
Woo. Okay.
Yeah. 6-1 in the MAC. I will be in Jersey City on Monday when they take on Iona. All right, Jonathan.
Shout out Indiana State too. They got a big win over Illinois State at home last night.
Yeah, I heard they couldn't miss.
Are we gonna talk investigations?
What can we add to this conversation
that hasn't been said already?
Just where is our angle on this?
Do you have like an actual opinion about like the whole prop bet banning stuff or anything like that?
I just don't think gambling on sports should be accessible with a click. Like, if you want to go to a casino and do it, like, that's your prerogative.
Okay.
I don't agree with it, but again, I don't think these bets are things that you're placing on your phone anyway. I think that the greatest danger in sports gambling, like, this stuff is happening regardless of whether sports gambling is legal or not. Like, this stuff, like, that is not changing. And people will say, oh, the legalizing it makes it easier to catch. Sure, that might be true.
It does.
But legalizing sports gambling also opened the door for more and more people to have their phone turn into a casino. And that is a bad thing, in my opinion. I do not think that you should be able to place a bet on anything, sports, roulette, blackjack, on your phone. I think you should have to do it at a casino. And I just think that, like, regardless of whether sports gambling or gambling is legal or illegal, you're going to get game fixing. You're going to get that. And it sucks. It sucks. I think that we need to do a better job in terms of I don't know what we need to do. I will say I also do not think that American sports, and this is kind of on the Chinese Basketball Association note of this. I don't really have any thoughts on the college basketball note.
I have one
because this all started with I read the indictment. This all started with the two main defendants getting in contact with Antonio Blakeney when he was playing in China. Why are American sports books offering wagers on the Chinese Basketball Association? Why are
One of
American sports
life's
books
great mysteries.
offering wagers on table tennis in Serbia? Like, you go on DraftKings on your phone at any given moment, you click live, and you're going to see some of the most degenerate random sports in the most random places. Like, okay, you want to bet who's going to win the Super Bowl? You want to bet who's going to win an NFL or hell, even a college basketball game. And I don't agree with it. I don't think you should be betting on college sports. But fine. I get that. I think that if there would be no relative interest in any sporting event from anyone reasonably in America, why are we offering wagers on it in America?
Yeah, I think that's a fair take to have, for sure. I also would like to add that there is actual on-court impact. A lot of these guys that were indicted,
Simeon Cottle's the big one.
Were former players, but Simeon Cottle is one of the best players in Conference USA for a team.
One of the best players in college basketball, Jonathan.
Like one of the teams that is actually like a contender in that league. And
he played last night, legit last night.
We presume that he is no longer going to be playing basketball for Kennesaw State.
I presume that he's no longer going to be playing basketball.
Period.
Maybe he'll play in the CBA for Antonio Blakeney's team.
Maybe. Who knows?
I don't know how they feel about this over there. They probably feel worse over there. But aren't they really, really strict on this stuff in China? I mean, LiAngelo Ball stole sunglasses and needed the president to bail him out.
Yeah.
And then LeVar Ball was like, the president should thank me.
That's right.
LeVar Ball versus Donald Trump, just unbelievable confluence of ego between them.
What was one of the more random collaborations in?
To be fair, LeVar Ball picked a fight with everyone.
Yeah.
Take us home.
He's defending his kids, and all of them ended up being quite good at something, to be fair.
Yes, take us home, Jonathan.
You came to hear about Tyler Self and where he's working. You came to the right place. You came to hear about Maryland Eastern Shore being a MEAC favorite. You came to the right place. And if you came to hear about the latest happenings with Caleb Grill, you came to the right place. This has been Season 6, Episode 69 of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers. And we'll see you next time.
Tomorrow, Brian Roth, 1 o'clock.